Wait. This is Mr. Glenn back at it again. Welcome back to Glenn's How I See It, another episode of Humble Dad. And we got a special guest this evening. And he, at the drop of a dime, he reached out. Well, I reached out to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I do this. I love this, man. It's a very good opportunity to talk about me as a dad with my kids." And I want to welcome. I'm gonna introduce him like this, Mr. Howard.
All
How you doing?
right, all right. I'm doing
Pronounce your
good. I'm
name.
doing
I
well.
ain't gonna mess it up, really.
Jamirie.
Jamirie. Well, I
Yes.
heard that name before. It seemed like Jamirie.
Yeah. It's a fun little backstory, honestly. When you look at it, it's actually Jamirie.
Okay.
My mom can't explain it. I don't ask anymore because she'll go upside my head, man. So
That's
she
what's up.
she had help from my grandma, and that's all I know about it.
That's what's
I
up.
don't
So
know
it's
where
almost
it
like
came
an
from.
original name.
I don't know where it came from, honestly. I've looked it up for years. There is no meaning of that spelling.
Yeah.
Now, they'll change it up and put Jamarie, something similar to that, or Jamal or something. But far as that name right there, there's no,
That's funny.
cannot be found.
When I was in, I don't know if you ever paid attention to BET Comedy Club. It was like way back in the day. It used to
Okay.
come on cable. You might be too young to remember, but it's okay. And there was this comedian that was come on there. His name was Jamario. He would
Oh
come on. He
wow.
said, "You don't know nothing about no Jamario," and that was his whole set. And that's probably
Okay.
why I'm thinking that it sounds like that.
Okay.
If
Jamarie.
I find it, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay. Okay.
For sure. So we're gonna go ahead and start it off, man. Kind of tell us what you think about the difference between a dad and a father, or do you feel like there's a difference at all?
Mm, okay. I think a father. I think a father. I think there's a difference. Yeah. I feel like a dad is earned. I think a dad is someone who's there every day, there for the bumps and the bruises, the learning, the teaching of a kid. Um, I just feel like that's just how it was portrayed to me.
Okay.
I've been doing further research, and I just really feel like that's the I'd say the more important of the two, honestly.
Okay.
Um, and I
That's
feel like a
interesting.
father. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I said that's just interesting. I was just listening to what you're saying.
Yes, yes. And a father. I haven't heard that word that much. Far as like in a movie setting or something like that, I
Mm.
never really hear anyone say that I'm their father. Like, it's usually a dad. So I guess just off my knowledge, father, just it's a title. It's you have one, but everyone has one. I guess you
Okay.
could say.
I'm
So
gonna tell you why that's interesting because
okay.
that's always my very first question. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to any of the other episodes, but that's always my leading question, and it's interesting because every man has a different concept of what a father is or what a dad is, and they interchange them. Now, some men have said that they're the same, right,
Mm,
to a degree,
okay.
because one would say, well, one was the one that helped produce me, and then the other one is the one that helps build me up, right?
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
so it's just interesting to hear who says what, right?
Okay.
Because everybody has their own thought process, which is cool. But the bottom line is that they always go back to that one is it has a more of a responsibility than the other, and the other one is just you just kind of brought me into this world type deal. Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
something that good that you said that's interesting. Also that you said something that you studied. Kind of talk to me about what you mean by you were studying something about being a dad.
Daddy. Yeah. So I got saved in 2016, and just a little about me growing up. Uh, My dad wasn't around.
Okay.
Again, I knew of him. Child support checks, whatever, all that was there, but just never really, had that one-on-one time with him.
Mm.
Um, so I think that, I don't know. I've always given him the respect. Most people will call him by the first names and stuff. I don't know what it was, but I've just always gave the respect. And then I guess to fast forward, and now when I got saved, the Bible says to honor thy mother and father. Much as I never wanted to, I want to call him by his first name. I always respected and honored him. I don't know how that came about, but I did. So after being saved, again, I raised my kids how I felt like I was being raised. Well, there was no guy around, so this is me. You got a kid raising a kid. I have no experience. I just have what my mom gave me. And as I got older and gotten a mentor and started getting into the word and finding out what a real dad is, a real dad is, I got to see where what went wrong, and I can't blame my mother for doing what she did all she could, but the truth of the fact is she's not a man, you know, and so I blamed my dad, and I'm just like, you know, come on, man, So um,
So how many kids do you have?
I have two girls. I have
Okay.
two
Oh,
daughters.
that's what's
Uh,
up. You're a
yes,
girl
I have
dad.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I have an 8-year old and a 6-year old, kindergarten and third grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were saved after both of them were born?
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes. I
wow.
was saved after the fact. So again, they got to see that. I'd say, I was a little harsh. I was a little harsh then versus now.
Hmm.
And again, it took a lot, and it took a loving wife to be able to see that and catch it and notice it, and then be brave enough to say something. You know what I'm saying? But we had to create that trust, that bond first, because how it was in the beginning was, you say the wrong thing, I'm gonna take it as offensive, as you don't know me, I'm gonna defend myself how I know how to, you
Oh
know.
wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it took a while. It took a while, and man, I broke down, and I'll slip every now and then, but definitely I watch it way more than I did before.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Um, because of the knowledge, the way I look at things now after being saved and learning that God loves me and that He forgives me for everything that I've ever done, and that He thinks highly of me even when I don't. That's what got. And then another thing, I'm one of those people. If you say something, you're gonna have to do it.
Okay.
Me personally, just like you told me to be on her at 6, I was literally gonna log in at 6. Like I'm one of those. I'm either gonna be right before or right on time, never
Okay.
after. You know,
That's what's up.
that's
That's
just
what's
how
up.
I am. But
Yeah.
yeah, So
That's what's up. So what have you found out about like your kids, like your
yeah.
daughters? Like what do you feel like the differences of them two, um the uniqueness of them? Because what I always was interested in knowing is like how is it that I'm different, so much different than my siblings, and we all was raised in the same house.
Mm,
So like kind of talked, and also my own kids, like they're really different. I
yeah.
have four, 11, 9, 7, and 2.5, and they're all different. And I can tell
Mhm.
you, and I will talk about it, but you tell me like what are the differences between the two kids, and then what do you see that's the same?
Okay. So this is cool. Real quick,
Yeah.
both of them, it's cool because they both was raised up in two different environments, and
Okay.
we're getting to see that. So our first one, she's actually, we call her our miracle baby for my wife.
Okay.
So a little backdrop. it was supposed to be a one night stand. I was in the military, and
Okay. Thank you for your service, bro.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, thank you. So it was supposed to be just a one night deal. We ended up really liking each other, you know. She calls me months, you know, a couple months later, hey, I'm pregnant. We started talking, and then, you know, here she comes. Well, the reason why she's a miracle baby, I didn't know, but she was, my wife was actually about to go, pretty much, she was fixing to go with a pimp to Atlanta.
Oh
If
wow.
she didn't find out, like if she didn't get tested and our firstborn didn't come, she was fixing to leave, forget about me, and go to Atlanta and do her thing.
Wow.
And so she was also, her mom's a praying woman, but she was
Wow.
out doing her thing. And of course, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you want your baby back home. And she prayed and prayed and prayed. And then this was the breakthrough for her as a parent. You know what I'm saying? So it was, it bounces off. Me, I mean, I was a knucklehead, but being in the military, I was around a bunch of guys that had it all together. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They had families, their kids. Some had kids my age, older, younger. You know, so I was around real mature men. It wasn't no more kids. You know, I was the kid there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So moving forward, my wife had more help with our oldest one, and I was
okay.
still in the military, and I got out when she
Wow.
was 3, and so we were going a lot of places at the time. Well, I got out.
Was this because of
Actually,
military? Was that
yes,
because of military? Okay.
yes. No. She was still in Texas, so
Oh,
we met. We got married. She came up to. We looked for a place. I got a discharge called other than honorable. So
okay.
I popped on the urinalysis. So I came up
Mhm.
there on the urinalysis. At
Okay.
the same time she came up for us to go look for a home, we found something, and then they dropped that news on me, and I got out probably like 6 months after that. So fast
Oh,
forward, we only have one kid. Now I'm back home. Situation stressful. Now we have our youngest one, but it's crazy because she's really unique too. So my oldest, you see the leadership in her. She's a go getter. So with that being said, we have an issue with her asking for things.
mm,
She's in third grade. Every one of her teachers, man, she's so amazing. She's such a leader. Like when new kids come in there, they pair her with my oldest because she understands. Like sometimes they won't understand the teacher, they'll understand her. She can break it down. She's already
okay.
head of the class to where you know she got it all. But in return, she hears, "Oh, you're so smart. You're such a leader." Well, she sometimes will step over the parent or who's ever over her, and she'll
Okay.
take initiation and do it. Sometimes that's okay, but we got to work on it with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
She's athletic, of course. You know,
Of course. That's an of course.
outgoing. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to I didn't mean to
you
say that,
did.
but yeah. So I mean, literally do everything she does. She picked up a softball. The girls, she's mastered that. She's done dance. She had like a whole month to do a routine to make it to the African dance team. This girl went in there for 30 minutes, and you know, we trying to make this a teachable moment because we know that she knows she's good at stuff.
Okay.
So this was gonna be one of them things where it's like she gonna, God forgive us. We was in the room like we hope that she don't make it. That way we can show her you have to practice. You know, because we preach practice makes perfect. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
And,
laughing
and
that you
she's the
asked
type,
God
huh?
to take your daughter down.
I listen. We didn't want her to make the
I
team. She's
understand.
already on softball. She got this girl is on it. Like I'm telling you, man.
That's
She's
hilarious,
really
bro.
gifted.
I've
She's
never
really
heard
gifted.
that before. Listen, God, I
I
need you to
gotta be
take
honest.
her down because she a little bit too high for herself. That's what's up. I'm with
But
you though.
it lo and behold, she did the thing, got one of the highest scores, man. So I'm like, we can't even teach her a lesson because you know, 30 minutes, man, went in there 30 minutes and got a routine and got one of the highest scores.
That's
So it's
crazy.
like we can't even, you know. So, but yeah, well, so we have that in there, okay. And
Yeah.
she has the typical kid where you know it's all about her. She don't want to share, you know, even though she's the oldest.
Yeah.
And you got our youngest one. she's really intelligent. She's really gifted. And she's the one that has the integrity. She's
Mm,
she's like me. She's gonna say whatever it is, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. If it hurts your feelings, if it hurt my feelings, I'm gonna let you know. And that's
mm,
what we preach to them. I always tell them, don't ever hold back what you need to say. Even if you know daddy don't want to hear it, if mommy don't want to hear it, you speak. God gave you a mouth, you speak. Don't let nobody tell you to shut up. Even if we tell you to, be like, Daddy, you said not to say shut. Like let me know. I don't want no one telling you to shut up because I don't want you thinking that that's okay. If you
mm,
be quiet, they can tell you to be quiet, but not. So
yeah.
she's the one where if we tell her to do this, she's gonna do just that, and she's
Mm.
not gonna move until you tell her to do something else. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So the
Okay.
first one, she gonna just go do it. The other one, she gonna be knocking at the door, and we be like, "What, girl? Can I do this?" And it's like, but we told her to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, man, like
She's somewhat of
it's
a rule follower.
yes, absolutely. And like I said, smart, talented. She's the dancer. She wants to do ballet, and
That's what's up.
so yeah. So she's, but they're both outgoing. It's a little weird, but you can have a probably a more clear conversation with my 6 year old than the 8 year old. She's
Okay.
she's 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 pretty advanced. She's pretty advanced. So my oldest, she's like she picks up on the book real fast, but my youngest one, you can tell her some stuff and she can recite it. She can recite
Mm,
really fast, and that's my wife. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So
That's what.
it's real, yeah, it's real cool,
So
soft, warm hearted.
that is dope. Now,
Yeah,
okay. So I appreciate you being so open and honest with
yeah,
me. So that
absolutely.
leads me to some questions, though. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like not bad questions, but just
Yeah,
like I'm like, okay, one night stand becomes my wife, right?
yes,
So kind of walk me through what kind of put you because this was before you were saved, so it's not
correct.
like a dude necessarily thinks, okay, let me make them my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? A godly
right.
man, a person that's not following Christ is not thinking in that regard. Let me go take her.
Absolutely,
Some
absolutely.
are, but it's not the norm, if you will.
Right,
Because if it
right.
was, then we wouldn't have 75% of our black women. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the race of
Mhm.
your wife is, but I'm just saying there's a lot of single mothers out here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
what made you say, you know what, I want to, since I know there's a kid coming, that I want to take care of my seed? Like what? How did that happen?
Man, that's and thank you for asking it. And for the record, she's white.
Okay.
Um, my only purpose was to know her. Like at this point in time, see just how my mom raised me. She again, certain things that she instilled in me that I take with me. Respect is one, and handle your business. That's always been one.
Okay.
Mhm. So with that being said, when she gave me that call, at that point in time, I didn't know if I was or not. I didn't know who else she was with. Also in my mind, I'm like, well, if I got it in the night, I mean, there's possibly some other people around.
Okay.
Well, and also another idea I had in my head was I actually was getting orders to go to Japan, Yokosuka, Japan,
Oh
and
wow.
that was the first thing in my mind when she told me she was pregnant. I actually was thinking about running. Like that was the first thought because I
About
was like, I
running?
could go, yeah,
Like you didn't want
to
to
run.
go?
No, to run. Like, cause she called my phone, but
Oh.
she didn't know that that was my cell phone. You
Okay. Okay.
know,
Yeah.
so I was thinking in my head like I could go to Japan and this girl would never even know. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
But I was just like, I don't know, something just told me not to do it. And then I was also excited, you know what I'm saying? Because we've always kept little kids. So I'm guessing, I was kind of looking at it like I mean, hey, it is what it is. That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Of course, I call home and tell my mom, and the first thing she was saying was it's crazy. The first thing she said was, "You not gonna run. I ain't teach you to be no wuss." You know.
What?
So she was like, "You not gonna run?" She said, "I will get a one-way ticket down there and whoop your butt, and then drive your truck home." My mom a savage.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom's a savage. She's a savage.
wow.
So
Wow.
honestly, it wasn't even really an option to run. I mean, I said that, but my mom,
Yeah.
Shit is not play.
So wow, go ahead and finish that
Yeah.
thought.
Well, and again, man, to remind you, I was 18 going on 19 when I got in the military. So I was the youngest one there. So again, most of the guys I'm with, they 30, 35 plus, they all got families. So who are they to sit around and be like, yeah, man, you need to run away? They pulled me in and was like, hey man, it's time to man up.
What?
What you did, you need to man up. You know what I'm saying? So they yeah, man, they took me in, man. They took me in, and I thank them for it. I still thank them to this day. You know, the main one that brought me in, he's actually divorced. You know what I'm saying? And we talked, and I was like, bro, you was my inspiration. Like you brought me in, you taught me these things, you know, you helped me out.
Wow.
And you know, I mean, he fought for it, but you know, it's just good guy or whatever. But
So
yeah, so
tell
I
me.
had that around me.
So tell me this. That's dope. Okay, so then there was sounds like there was a support system that was around you, whether it was your mom or whether it was the men that was in the I guess the military
In
with
the
you
military, yes, in the Navy.
in the Navy, and so you had all this support talking to you about you need to go take care of your responsibility, right? So then, how long was it until y'all got married? Was it that okay, you're gonna have the baby, now we're gonna get married, or was it okay? Well, there were two separate things.
So honestly, marriage, none of that was in the picture. My only
Okay.
goal talking to her was just to get to know her because we didn't know each other.
Okay.
I didn't want that whole, I pretty much told her what this is just how it was. I told her, I was like, look, I'm not gonna do the baby mama drama stuff. I was
Okay.
like, let's get to know each other. I already had everything set up. Like I was about to send her $400 every paycheck, and I was trying to buy everything that I could. Like I was very cooperative. It wasn't
Okay.
and she was cool and laid back. And not to mention, I actually had a girlfriend of 2.5, 3 years at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had to tell
Wow.
her late. She was
Yeah.
actually the last one to find out, and then there was a
Wow.
whole crazy story with
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, there was no intentions of that. And
Okay.
when I
Okay.
finally got home, I finally went home to meet my firstborn because the Navy messed me over. I didn't get to be there when she was born, so I didn't get to meet her until 2.5 months later.
Okay.
So
Oh.
once I came home, yeah, I was upset. So once I finally came home and met her, just being around her and seeing, how it is like when, this woman is taking care of your kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different, man. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, no intentions. At that very time, I still had
Okay.
a girlfriend. I was going over there just for the baby. That's
Wow.
it. And man, the rest was history. I mean, she liked me, but she never told me. She was like, I was respecting everything that you had. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I tried
Wow.
to talk to her, flirt with her, and she wasn't having it. She wasn't having
Wow.
it
Wow.
until yeah,
That's dope. Appreciate that, man. I didn't
absolutely.
even know where we was going, but it was just so interesting because
Mhm.
what it is now is there's a lot of single mothers and it's
Yes.
dudes that act like, like they can't be a part of that child's life as a result of their own decision. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Absolutely.
I just wanted you to kind of open that up so
Oh
that
yeah.
individuals that hear that listen, just because this was what it was I thought it was going to be. Well, now
Mhm.
I got a kid that's in this world. I got to step
Yes.
up my game and take care of my kid. Yes, you may
Absolutely.
think about running, right? But,
Mhm.
like that kid is going to suffer because
Oh yeah.
you ran. You know what I'm saying? If you think about, because I was not raised by, I didn't have my dad in my life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so the person that was the most father figure for me was my uncle who did my first episode. He did the first episode with me, and you and him have somewhat of similar stories, if you will. So if you ever get a chance, go check out my first episode and kind of get an idea of him. But he always was having us around. Like he was the youngest of eight, but
Mm.
he was the most of a man that we saw. And what that meant was he took responsibility of hanging out with all of his nephews and nieces. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And I'm 16 years older than him. I mean, he's 16 years older than me, right?
Okay.
And like when he went to Prairie View, he would like bring us up there. You know what I'm saying? He's in college.
Wow.
You follow? You feel me? And
Right,
so
right.
that's what I grew up around. And so it's and so if he would not have done that, then I wouldn't have had those like those small things about what it's like to want to be in your kid's life. So I think
Yeah.
that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. So I would say so. Kind of walk me back through like when you was a kid. Like
Okay.
what, like middle school, late elementary, kind of like what type of kid were you?
Okay. So real quick. So we actually lived in Oak Cliff. Um
Hey, that's my hood.
um I want to say with East Dallas as well, and I went to Barbara Jordan. Shoot, we and Thomas Tolbert, we were still getting spankings at them schools. So I think what was it? My third going to fourth grade. I think my mom did one of the best things was to move us out here to Carrollton, North Dallas.
Yeah.
They had just built these Section 8 apartments out here. And matter of fact, I stayed about a mile down the street from them.
Okay.
Um, so coming in and again coming out here, you know what I'm saying, it was a little different. It's just like wow. So
It
honestly,
is different.
yeah.
I lived in like the apartments of Strata. I don't know if you heard of those.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like
it's
it's behind an old. It's off of like Beltline, Josie Lane.
okay.
It's like by it was it was crazy. It was like a small little hood. But yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so it was Section 8. But honestly, being in those apartments and with the Section 8 group, I mean it didn't feel, that much
You
different.
know,
But you just knew your mind,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was like a mind thing for you. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
it's crazy. So I started picking it up, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to really listen to my words and try and pronounce things better. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
was weird, but
So you
um,
start trying to change your lingo,
oh
trying to
yeah,
fit
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was seeing things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, my mom would tell you that I was a really, really good kid. I didn't give her problems, but I was that kid. Once I left out the house, my name wasn't Jamirie no more. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and I
So
have an older
you.
sister.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
sister that's older than me. Her name is Janice. And so that whole mother daughter feud, that was too busy going on for her to really recognize. Cause see, I had good grades and stuff. So,
Okay.
on paper and everything, like I knew when I could and couldn't clown, when I can and when I couldn't clown. And like I
Mm,
said, she was so worried about my sister that she didn't know who I was when I left out the house.
wow.
So
Wow. So when you get to like junior high, was
mm.
there like were you still that same type of individual? Did you have any like father figures or dudes that you could look up to during that time?
No, she
Oh
was
yeah,
dating guys. She was dating guys, but I wouldn't say any of them were a father figure. I mean, one of them played the game with me. I remember him to this day. He played the video game with me, but as far as teaching me nothing, I mean, teaching me anything, no. When I turned 16, she got married for 1 year,
oh, okay.
and I could smell the situation, but also it was at that time where I'm the only man in the house, and I've been so used to hearing you got to be the man in the house, you got to be the man of the
Mm.
house
You
that
felt
pretty
like
much I didn't
making
like. Right. So I didn't like any of the guys. Well, this one in particular had did like a 20 something years, 20, 15 to 20 year sentence.
mm,
Been out only about 3 or 4 years, and I was just
mm,
like, Mom, she just looking for love at this point.
mm.
Um, it was, I guess it would say it was an okay experience. So he was good with hands. I guess inside, they learn how to make everything,
Okay.
fix everything. So
Yeah.
he would show me how to fix things, like change
Mm.
tire, oil. That's
That's
when I
cool.
learned all that. I
Okay.
did learn manual labor from him. And
Wow.
to work hard, that is one thing, what I'm saying? He did work hard.
Wow.
But as far as that, at 16, until I got into the Navy,
Yeah.
is that was it. And I can honestly say when I got out, Um, I think my first real mentor was I met at Covenant Church was James McCutcheon. We
Really?
went we went through marriage ministry, and he put me and my wife me and my wife we had him.
He's
We
a good
was
dude.
Yes, he is. We were that was one thing that we both agreed to was divorce. If this didn't work, that was one thing that we could agree on.
So
You
you
know what
wait a
I'm
minute.
saying?
You agreed that if it didn't work, then we would divorce.
Yes,
Not that
sir.
we would
That
work on it.
correct. Correct. Because
Wow.
we was looking at it like, man, we've been, right at this time, we've been married 8 years now, but at that particular time, we were probably 4 to 5 years in.
Okay.
Um, for some reason, I thought I was taught that the first 5 years are the best. Well, as I got older, and going through it, I'm just like, no, and then again, we don't have that background everybody else did. We were born in with the kid. We came together because of a kid.
Mm.
Most people
That
got
happens
a
to other people.
history.
I don't know. That happens to more people than you think, though.
Yeah. Well, I wish they would be open about it, because a lot, once I tell people that first sentence, she was supposed to be a third night. Everybody's what? And I'm like, yeah,
I mean,
we
well,
don't have a
that
problem about
like that part is interesting. Like, you know what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah.
I definitely wish that other people would talk about it. I mean, because I definitely made some bad choices in my life
Yeah.
that I could have been you. It was only the grace of God that didn't
Sure.
happen for me. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I was just talking about the part that that you got to the point of saying that I'm gonna get to know her and then
Yes.
found out that she's your wife. Like that
Yes.
that right there is a that's a different type of dude that would say,
Yes.
let me at least be a good enough dude in this relationship and take care of my kid. And, whoever she is, I'll just find out who this mother of my kid is. And then
Absolutely.
turn it into a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Because it takes two. I'm firm. I mean, it takes two. And then what's also programmed in my head, no kid asked to be here. You know,
Man, can we
they
get
don't
that?
ask to be here. They don't
Man,
ask for you to be their mom. They don't ask for you to be their dad.
man. Do
Yeah.
it's a big deal to me, right? I think because of me being a believer and understanding who God is to us.
Yes.
He's our heavenly Father, right? And
Yes.
he wants the best for us, right?
Absolutely.
And I also remember, like situations where my dad, he stopped being in our life somewhere around when I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
They got a divorce. I got a younger brother who's about 4 years younger than me, and I have a
Okay.
sister, but she has a different dad. And but when I was about 5 or 6, I remember them breaking up, and I'm having to go over his house and then come back to my mom's house.
Mm.
That was weird, right? And then as I
Mm.
got older, he wasn't there. He would come pick me up every now and then. I don't even really remember him hanging out with us. He would take us to Athens and drop us off for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? I hang out with my granddad, my grandma, and then I remember this one time when he took me to college my first day on campus. Right,
Okay.
and I hadn't talked to him for years before that, but my mom wanted me to go. I was in college, and I remember asking him. I said, "Dad, can I get like $20 a month just kind of help me out while I'm in school?" This dude gonna say, "Well, I gotta pray about it." Yeah, I'm asking you for $20 a month,
Ooh.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Why you gotta ask God? Should you give money to your son? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And he never
That's
came back and said yes or no. He just,
mm.
you know what I'm saying? And so that gave me a bad taste of like, what I would have to look forward to as being a dad. You know what I'm saying? And so I
Okay.
never wanted to be that. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, it's important for dudes to understand the impact that they're having on their kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you know how many fatherless children there are currently?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say anywhere between 60 to 75%.
Yeah, I don't know that percentage, but the number is 17 million.
That's sad, man.
You see, yes, and there are dudes that these are their kids, but for whatever reason, even if the mom is a bad baby mama, if you will, you can still figure out ways to be involved in your kid's life. Some things you just got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
chose her. You chose her. You know what I'm saying? You thought she was good enough for you to lay with, and
absolutely.
then now you brought somebody into the world that shouldn't just. Now you should not be like. You shouldn't be like, okay, yeah, that's on her.
And you know, it's crazy because all it is feelings. And that's funny you just said that. I'm gonna say two things real quick. I'll make it
Yeah,
fast. You something came
yeah,
up in
man.
my head. You said something about your dad. Because it's interesting how I actually got to hang with him. So my mom said she took him to court when I was 8. I don't remember seeing him or nothing. She said I was there, but not up there with me. She
Okay.
said that she just wanted him to come get me. They asked her if she wanted back child support, so it would be for 8 years back child support. She was like, I don't even want the money. I just want him to come get his son, spend some time with him. He never came. So at the age of 14, I'll never forget. I came in. No, that's another story. I finally actually met him from what I can remember when I turned 14. They were in Oak Cliff, and where they live at is 3 blocks from my grandpa's house. His mom, I mean not his mom, my aunt, his sister, went over to my grandpa's house and asked about me. So my grandpa gave my mom, he gave my grandpa my mom's number. So my aunt talked to my mom. And so that's how I got over there. So I get there, don't know none of them, being greeted by all of them. He finally comes in. This is my first time seeing him since, this is what I remember.
Yeah, well,
Of course I'm so excited because I don't know. I want to know who you are. I'm interested. I know I don't get all these traits from my mom. I don't
yeah,
look like so I'm interested. Man, I will never forget. And every time I used to go over there, he wouldn't look at me in my eye. He really wouldn't speak to me unless I spoke to him. We can be the only two in the living room. They had their den connected to the kitchen,
yeah.
so their table's right there, and then the sink's right there. Well, they let me drink coffee, at 14, so I did it. And so if I didn't say, "Hey, Dad," he would not say nothing. He'd have a paper in his hand, reading the paper, right? And I'm like, I'm walking by, just doing silly stuff just to walk by, see if he notices me. He don't drop the paper. He don't say, hey, he don't do nothing until I say, hey, Daddy. Then he say, hey, Jamirie, and that'll be it. And
Wow.
so up until what, I'm 29 now, up until the age of 27, he couldn't look me in my eye. If he was standing in front of me right now, he
Wow.
now he can, but 2 years ago he couldn't look me in my eye. And I think it's because of how successful he sees me and
Mhm.
how much of a dad I am to my girls. And he
Okay.
knows that he had no part of it. And so
Mhm.
I think the guilt and the shame and all that was
Yeah.
festering on him. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
That
And
makes sense.
so we again, I got saved and I reconciled, and James challenged me. And so the last time me and my dad talked, I was in the military, and like I said, I was a different person. I wasn't
Yeah.
saved. So I'll tell you this: my dad was so nervous that he would not meet up with me by myself. My mom had to be there, or James had to be there. Like somebody had to be there. But he knew James was my mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like
Wow.
I was heated, man. Like I
Mm.
told him, I remember to this day. He was like, Jamirie, he was like, you made me cry, and I'm like, did you think about me, man? But so fast forward,
Wow.
man.
Wow.
Again, man. Once I finally got saved, man, all this stuff started adding up, and I was purposely trying to keep my girls away from him.
Okay.
Not only knowing that it was actually only hurting me, because it was like he's not losing no sleep over this. I'm the only one sitting at home thinking about this. He may lose sleep a couple of times, but I'm ultimately hurting because I got
Yeah.
this big picture and I see you in it, but I don't know if you want to be in it. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So
Yes.
we finally got to come together, and I got my rocks off. He got to say what he got to say. And man, I had found out that there was some stuff happened that my mom forgot about that she was involved with, and it was
Mm.
crazy. But I'm saying this to say that once God got in my life, things got complete. And he's now in the picture. And man, in about another month, this dude is buying both of them their own 4-wheeler. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he just called me randomly. What's their favorite color? You know, about
Wow.
11, 12 for him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Wow.
you know what
So
I'm
he's
saying? I
a
hung up
granddad. So
cheers.
he went,
It's crazy, you know?
that is crazy. So
But
so James challenged you to kind of get in touch with your dad and
yeah,
reconcile with your dad.
yeah,
That's and so
yeah.
how has
I
that, go
had to
ahead?
forgive him. I had to forgive him first
Yeah.
because you know that all those years and all that pain was still there. So
Yeah. The guy, man, the reason why I do these episodes is one, I think it's important for the world to see that there's some dudes out here doing their job as it relates to being a dad, and then
absolutely,
also for for people like you and I to glean from one another as it relates to how we raise our kids, and that there is a byproduct of how we were raised that kind of hinders us from being the best dad that we can, right? Until we see like who Christ is. Like I know
yeah,
I'm going back, like I know I've said it before, but like that that is literally why uh I had a mindset of how I wanted to be a better dad than I had, but I also understand that I want my kids to see what Christ looks like
yes,
on earth. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
So some of the
yes,
things that I do is like, we talk about the Bible in the morning. You know,
yes,
I ask for forgiveness when I do something that when I made my kids upset.
absolutely.
Specifically my daughter who's 11. She's
Mm,
she is she's highly intelligent and she's in touch with her emotions as well,
mm,
and so, meaning that she knows when she's upset, but she doesn't want to unleash that on dad, because we've also talked about, respecting us even though you disagree with us, right? And so when I
absolutely.
had recently angered her, I didn't apologize because I definitely felt like she was wrong, and I didn't yell at her. But there was a time when I had whooped her, and it was for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it was the right reasons, and then I had to come back and apologize to her, you know, and just let her see that Daddy was wrong, right?
Okay.
And then but my dad has never come and said, well, I was wrong. That was my bad. He said,
Mm,
well, I remember asking him because I thought he was on his deathbed, and everybody told me, you got to go see him. You got to go see him because never know. And
mm,
I'm like, I'm good, y'all. You know what I'm saying? They was like, well, you don't want to have regrets. So I said, I'm go. He's in the bed, and I asked him, I said, so why'd you leave? You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, well, it was hard. You know what I'm saying? It was hard back then. I don't even really remember if he actually apologized, but I had already relinquished in my mind. I relinquished as far as like hating him.
okay.
I had read this book called Bait of Satan by John Bevere. Uh, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 12. Yeah, maybe 12 years ago. And what it was talking about is how the devil uses um, broken relationships to keep you
Yeah.
further away from God.
Mm,
Because if I
that's
don't, if I'm not forgiving, and the Bible says it, right? If you can't forgive the brother you can see, why do you expect me to forgive you who you can't see, basically, right?
mm.
And so when
Oh
I
yeah.
read that, that's when I began to just like, okay, it is what it is, and if I'm able to get to that time, then I can, I mean, I will. So,
Right.
behold, as we're talking about, the situation with how we feel about our dads, why this dude gonna text me a couple of days ago? Like we don't talk on
Mm,
a regular basis.
Okay.
I don't even think he said Merry Christmas to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow. Okay.
But he might have said Happy Birthday, a text Happy Birthday, maybe. Can't remember. But anyway, he asked us to he asked me and my two brothers. He has a son with his current wife. Would we would we come over for Super Bowl Sunday?
Uh-oh.
Think about this, bro. That's the biggest Sunday of the year.
It
Unless Christmas,
is.
unless Christmas is is on that day. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, you got Easter in there too. Okay, but I'm like, dude, like all of a sudden, and my wife, she says, "What are you gonna do?" Not let's go. She says, "What are you gonna do?" And so that's an opportunity for me to go. You know, for him because he hasn't seen his grandkids. He has never met my youngest daughter. I don't think. And,
Whew.
and it's not like he lived far away. He lives in D Town,
Mm.
maybe 45 minutes from here. That's where he lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but anyways, you know, that's just a little bit about what's going on with me, and
Yeah.
and the things that I kind of go through, not on a daily basis, but why I try to pursue um, being a good dad. One, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I was telling, I don't know who I was telling this to, but so much so I asked my kids, how am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I said, so how did I do today? You know, or how did I do this week as a dad? And you know, and I tell them to be honest. You know, I say I don't want you to tell me yes if I didn't. And
Okay.
so, you know, my daughter, she tells me I need to ask her for on dates more often. My son Joshua, he cool with whatever, bro. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you and him are probably the same type of dude. Like he's so laid back.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how laid back
Yeah.
this dude.
Yeah.
His matter of fact, his football coach called him the silent assassin. That's how quiet he is.
Oh,
Even
okay.
in practice, he's quiet. Okay.
Wow.
And then my son Ethan, he's more of a more outspoken type of guy. He
Okay.
gonna, like you said, tell speak your mind.
Yes.
Like that's him.
That's
He tell
him.
you exactly what his thoughts are. And so I asked him, and he told me the only time that he feels like I am being a dad to him is if we're on his time.
Okay.
So, for example, if I decide to play with him, if I'm playing a video game and he comes and I say, "Come play with me," he doesn't. He don't count that as our time together. It has
Okay.
to be something that he has suggested.
He
Or,
suggested.
yeah,
Oh.
like Dad, you want to come hang out? If I go hang out, then we're hanging out. If I do a Bible study, that's not hanging out. Okay. If I
Mm,
do some practice with each other, we do softball, baseball, that's not hanging out. It got to be him. You know what I'm saying?
man. Wow.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly. And then I asked him, how much time should I spend with you, bro? He's like, about an hour. I'd be good. Whereas my Joshua, he's like, I'm good with 20 minutes. My
Okay.
daughter, she's like, you know, I'm good if you spend like, 2, 3 hours one day, we went on a day, I'm good for the entire week.
Yeah.
And so it's just really different. My 2.5-year-old, it's only because we're in this hour segment and that mom knows that I'm in here that she hasn't come in here. So for
Mm,
her, it's probably on the hour. She's knocking on the door.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
building those relationships and knowing that I got to spend time with them is dope. I've been talking
Yeah.
a lot. I wanted to tell you this, and you tell me what you think.
Mm,
And, the picture that you sent me, my wife saw the picture when I was putting it together, and
okay.
I'm not sure who's in the picture, but I cropped it out. You know how YouTube does. You know, if you have a kid in the picture, you can't really do nothing. And so
Oh,
I cropped it out. And but who was in the picture? I know it's your daughter, but which one?
yeah, that's my oldest Emery.
Okay, so your oldest. She was like, man, she really loves him. My wife said that based on the picture. Now,
Yeah.
talk to me outside of the picture of what that looks like when you're at home. How does she show you that she loves you?
Okay, so she is a how do you say it? Her love language, I'd say her love language is affirmation.
Okay.
She's not more of the touchy. I'm trying to, I guess, okay, so since I didn't have a dad around, in my mind, I'm thinking that she should be all over me.
Mm, I
So,
understand. Understand.
but she's more of an independent one though. So
Okay.
it's not even that she want mama or daddy. It's she's that one that I like to figure things out. Like when she's 2 and 3, like you trying to show her something, it's yeah, like she want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Feeding
wow.
herself, like she was just like people used to play, and it was like she's getting out the way, getting ready for the next kid. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like it's that's her personality. Like she show her, okay, I got it, and then boom. But you gotta watch her though, because she gonna fall, but you got to be right there to get it. She's not
Okay.
gonna tell you she need help. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
with that being said, again, that was my biggest battle. I didn't have a dad, so I'm expecting her to be bananas crazy. Like I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
also interesting because every one of her friends don't have their dad at home, and so
Everyone
yeah, it's hard trying to teach and talk to her about certain things because
is not her reality.
right. Well, and what you see is, and I'm old school to the heart, man. I'm 29, but how my generation raised kids, I don't agree with.
What is
So,
that?
oh, okay. So, for instance, I feel like my generation they like to raise their kids as their friend and
Okay.
not their parent. So
Yeah.
there's no established
Authority.
dominance, authority. There's no like how do they know how to
Yeah.
respect you? They go to school with friends. You know what I'm saying? They they got softball friends, soccer friends, swimming pool friends. Like
Why do you
you
think
got you. I'm your
that's
guardian. I'm your guardian. I mean we play now. Don't get me wrong. We play around.
yeah.
They have to know. I mean, honestly, they have to know. You play with them like a friend, they're gonna talk to you like one.
Yeah.
They
So
don't know.
man, that's talk about that. Now, why do you see that? I know you're going somewhere else, but tell me
You're good.
why do you think it's important for the kid to know that you're the parent and not the friend?
Well, what I've noticed about my kids, kids love structure, even though they don't necessarily say that. They love structure. And again, how I'm telling you how all her friends that come over, they never want to leave. But when you see me and how I wouldn't say every time, but I will get on my kids wherever we at. Like they know that I'm not saying I don't backhand. I don't have to do all that. Like I spanked them at an early age, so now they're 6 and 8. All I gotta do is stare at them. Like it
Yeah.
ain't no. I ain't gotta do
Yeah.
nothing with my face. Just stare at them,
Yeah.
and it's like they know. I can stare
Yeah.
at them when they're doing something good. They'll walk right off. I can stare at them when they did something bad, and they know. You know what I'm saying? So I've
Yeah.
I've taught them like girls, y'all know what's right and wrong. Like you know.
That's just
Um. So yeah. So what I was saying was just yeah. So that was a big issue for me. And again, we tend to raise our kids how we were raised. You're either gonna
yeah.
do exactly what the parent did or the opposite. I
Okay.
told myself I was gonna raise my kids the opposite, but I ended up raising them how my mom did, and that was tough love, but
Yeah.
there was really no love in it. Like her love was, boy, you
Oh,
got clothes on your back, food on the table. I ain't supposed to do nothing else. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? So
yeah.
I'm supposed to look at all that as extras. You know what I'm saying? Like it almost portrayed to me like she was doing me a favor.
Oh, okay.
But there was never no explanation. There was I'm the mama, you the parent. I'm the parent, you're the kid. Mama,
Gotcha.
where you going? Don't worry about it. I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what I got. So going into my firstborn, I was saying the same thing. Daddy, where you going? Don't worry about it, girl. You're not old enough to go. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so again, the wife, got on to me and was like, "Hey, you said you didn't like how your mom raised you, and You're scarred from things that she said to you
Yeah.
and things that, I mean, just how she still is now. I can't hear you.
No, I was just saying that's a good point. I'm
Oh,
listening. I didn't want to
yeah.
interrupt. He's on a roll.
Yeah. So, and when she reminds me of that takes me back because she raised me how she know, you can only go off of what you know. And so I had to do some research and found out the whole backdrop on my grandpa. That's where it started from.
Okay.
So he's still alive. My grandma has passed away, but they kind of put him on a pedestal, and that's kind of how he walks around. Whereas there's me where I'm like, nah, my daddy wouldn't nothing. So
Yeah.
I look at you as, I mean, you're my grandpa, but I know what my mom have said about you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so and there's no forgiveness. There's no like I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you can't say that back to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Him about itself. So that's how my mom was. So that's how
okay. And
you
then
know.
also, do you notice this is also, I think this is why it's such a big deal of having a two-parent household.
Yes. Yes.
Because of the balance, right?
Yes.
If your wife wouldn't have said, "Hey, remember, you didn't want to be like that," right? You
Right.
still would have been that. You would have. That was where you would have went. Like there wouldn't have been a change necessarily in that particular moment for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know. For me, my wife. This is what she did the other day. You know what I'm saying? Me. I'll tell you exactly the story so I can make so all the context is there. I grade my kids math. We homeschool our kids, and so
Cool.
I used to be a math teacher for 11
Okay.
years, and now I'm doing my real estate investing business, and so I have more time at home.
Okay.
So I was grading my 11-year-old's paper, her math work. She gives it back. I said, and this was the second time I was grading it, and I said, "You missed something right here." Now she can't see it, but she tells me, "It's there." Not in a rude way. She's just like, "I did do it." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "I'm looking at it." She said, "But I did it." And I'm like, "Listen, you lying." Right? That's what I say to her. My
Mm-hmm.
wife comes over and begins to mediate. Now, mind you, if I was the pride, like I still have a little bit of pride, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I love my daughter. She's my firstborn, you know what I'm saying? And she's a miracle child. All of them are to a degree because my wife only has, she we wasn't able to have some in the beginning, and so then we have Gianna. So she's a miracle
Um,
child in that regard, right? And so I treasure all of them. She's the firstborn, you know what I'm saying? So and she's a girl. And so I'm a
yeah.
dad. I want to make sure that I want to talk to her in a way that maybe her husband would talk to her, or how
Okay.
I would be cool with my son-in-law talking to her.
That's good. That's good.
That makes sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I'm trying to not get to the level of like you telling me that I'm
Sure.
lying.
Sure.
And I'm literally looking at it. I asked her brother, who's 7. I said, "Do you see what I see? Like I'm singing a Christmas song or something. Like, do you see this?"
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Yeah, I see it." And I'm like, "Gianna, you didn't do this." She said, "Yes, I did."
She's still on it.
She's still lying. And so when my wife comes over, right now, if I was a single dad, then that would have been a totally different transaction. So
Mm.
as with my wife, she comes over and she said, "Okay, listen, you guys, this is what she says, Elijah, this is what she's trying to say. This is what Gianna's trying to say." And then she says, "Gianna, this is what your dad is saying." Okay. Now, now, and then my wife came back later. She said, "I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything like that." I said, I get it. Like I saw it. Like the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit was there for real. Because
Yes.
I usually would say, like I did kind of say, I said, but nobody really asked you. You know what I'm saying? I did say that, but then I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Okay, something's transitioning here that you need to pay attention to.
Okay.
Right. So I only
Okay.
tell that story, and then what happens is that my daughter's demeanor changed because she started crying, right? And you don't want to see your
Uh,
daughter crying, you know what I'm saying? And so I was trying to be still sensitive, but at the same time, I'm your dad. Like you just telling me that I'm not seeing what I'm seeing.
Ooh.
What? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
And so, anyways, uh, when I was able to, when my wife was able to come over and explain both sides of the situation, it resolved to a relaxed, like I was cool, but my daughter, her demeanor changed. And so, and how I know that is because when she stopped working, maybe like 30 minutes later, she wanted me to look at something that she was doing. She
Okay.
wanted me to listen to some music that she was listening to. She
Okay.
invited me into her world, if you will,
Yeah,
even though we had just had a argument. You
that's
know,
good.
and so I said all of that to say, like, what's so dope about having a marriage that both of you are working in to try to build your family, and
Yeah,
the trajectory of like how your kids are going to be. So
yeah.
I said a
Takes
lot, but you know
teamwork.
what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Teamwork. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, but both spouses gotta be on the same level.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, man. Well, this has come to the point of where I got to ask you these last three questions. Man,
Okay.
you got me you got me thinking in my head, like, dude, like I'm talk so much. I
Yeah.
usually just let the guests talk, but I'm like,
Hey, we're good, man.
you got me
I love
thinking,
it.
bro.
I love
That's
it.
what's up. So these are the questions. Is you're gonna have to give me a number between 1 and 44, and
Okay.
these are gonna be some get to know you questions. All right, so
Okay.
you'll give me a number between 1 and 44.
3.
Okay. What are your memories about the house you lived in as a kid? Did you have a favorite?
Hmm. Do I got a memory? I guess my favorite memory is leaving it. I'd say, yeah, leaving it.
That's what's
Yeah.
leaving that. So what age was it when you left it? You talking about like going
Yeah.
to the
I'm
Navy?
saying pretty much on Cliff to coming out this way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. With the third grade.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's your favorite memory was leaving it. All right. That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's a good one. Give me another number.
Let's go with 38.
What are the three happiest moments in your life so far? Other than
Okay.
your kids and your wife and accepting Christ. Like those, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Those are your
Um,
go-to. Other than that.
when I joined the military, definitely when I swore in, I'd say leaving Newman Smith to Louisville.
Okay.
Because and I say that because if I didn't, I wouldn't have went to the military and I wouldn't have the life that I have. Like I'm for sure. I'm sure of that.
Wow.
And let's see. You say you can't say wife and kids, man. That's
It's obvious. You know what I'm saying?
um.
Obvious.
Oh well, I could say this job that I have right now. First job
Okay.
I've had in more than 5 years.
What's up? What do you do?
I do HVAC. I do commercial HVAC. So I'm
Wow.
at a building in Las Colinas.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's
the
what's
big air
up.
conditioning units, pretty much.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Congratulations on that. That's a big deal. Hey, you'll never be out of a job on that one.
Man. Hey, I haven't missed a beat. Haven't missed a beat.
I know. All right, give me another number. Last number.
17.
All right. So how are you most like your parents? And how are you different?
How am I most like them? I'd say funny. I'm
Okay.
funny like them. And how am I most not? Whew. I'll leave it at I sympathize better. We'll say,
I knew you were thinking of something else, right? But that's cool.
yeah, man. Y'all
Way to
said
check your Rolodex, bro.
right.
That's
Yeah.
what's up. Okay, so coming down to a couple last questions. One of the questions that I always ask. I'm gonna leave that one for last. But take me to who you would say is your favorite TV dad.
I would say Uncle Phil.
What? What is going on? What is going on? You're the third one in a row, bro.
Huh? You said
Third
my
person
third,
in a row. You're
third
the
in a
third
row.
person in a row to say Uncle Phil.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because everyone knows the story, you know what I'm saying? And, and
Mm.
I guess that, that he took in, you know what I'm saying? And I like
So
to
did,
look, huh?
yeah, he
And
did.
I
Go
like to
ahead.
look at our house like we know people that foster and things like that. Like we're real good with them. And I told her, because again, I look at their friends and how most of them single. And I told my wife noticed when we take kids in, usually girls, they're mine. Like when they leave y'all, we the guardians. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, step in front of a bullet, pull out the gun if I need to for them. I'm
Yeah.
protected.
That's
So
what
I told her I want our house to be that
safe.
hospital. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what's up.
They
That's
need
what's
that.
up.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
there's more. You got Mr. Drummond. You got James. You
Yeah.
got even Mr. Jefferson was a dad. I mean, we got all these other. We got Archie Bunker. You know what I'm saying? We got what's the dude from Family Matters? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got dude from Sister Sister. You know what I'm saying? You got Cosby. You know,
Yeah. Cosby. Oh, Cosby, a good one too. Cosby. Yeah.
but whatever.
And they trying to mess this man legacy up, man.
He still was the world's greatest dad at that time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And
So
they trying
last,
to still want to take it from him, but they
I
can't.
know they can't take that title. So kind of tell me the last things. How would you like for your kids to remember you? What would you want them to say about you as their dad?
That I love them so much. Do anything for them. Um, be anything they want me to be. Do whatever they need. Um, I mean, I don't want them to the typical provider and things like that. I want them to know me as just whatever they needed at that time.
That's dope. That's dope. That's what's up. Well, I appreciate it, Jamirie. Did I
Yes,
say it right? All right.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's what's up. I really appreciate the time, man. This has been a blast. This has probably been the longest interview that I've had because I just was like, had me like, it's like these, your story was just very captivating. And then as far as how the man you become, at such a young age is really, something to admire. And so I really appreciate the time.
Yeah,
And
man.
you have the last words. What would you want to say to the audience?
Well, I want to thank you again, man, for this platform and just the vision I told you before that God gave you, man. I really appreciate this. And like we discussed on the phone, like you said, man, this is a great platform to see that there are good dads out here that we can all piggyback off each other. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we need to do because there is no one dad that just has it all. We need to network more. So that's why I really appreciate what you're doing.
I
I really
appreciate it.
do. And I thank you for it.
For sure, man. Well, I want to thank you for being a humble dad. And all those that are listening, appreciate you for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we out here. Deuces.
All right.